name is Tess. I'm a life transition coach, and through my business Wings Unfolded, I help people who are loving what they do, but they're not sure where it's going. When we're not sure where we're going, what we're doing, how it's really serving us, we can end up feeling really stuck and uncertain about what decisions to make in our lives. And this can really drain our energy for anything that we do. We can lose motivation, we can take it out on other people around us, and we can just lose the overall drive to keep moving forward in our lives. My intention with these videos is to help people get clarity about who they are, what they want, and how they can reconnect with who they are and what they want so that their energy can be uplifted and they can engage in their lives in meaningful ways. So through these videos, I offer insights, tips, ideas, and even courage to get through those times in your life when you might be feeling stuck. So over the last few weeks with these videos, I've been setting up a framework around dealing with self-doubt in our lives. Self-doubt is one of those things that can really, really drain our energy and make us feel really stuck in life. And there are certain things that we can do to really work through the self-doubt, understand what it's there to teach us, and how to combat it, how to make our lives happen anyway, regardless of how much self-doubt we might feel. So one of the ways that I've talked about that so far is through self-acknowledgement and self-acceptance. Those were the last two videos that I shared with you all. And today we're going to talk about self-trust. I'm also trusting myself a whole lot today because instead of typing out my notes word for word the way exactly I want to say them on these videos, I just have, a few notes scribbled here and there. So I am trusting myself to know what to say and how to say it and in what order I want to say it. So bear with me, wish me luck. So I entitled this video The Light of Self-Trust because I believe that our light, everyone has an inner light, and their inner light is shining most when they are connected to their highest good or acting from your highest good. We all have a highest good. It's that part of us that says, I might want to yell at this person, but I don't think that's going to be very productive. I think instead I'm just going to share with them how I'm feeling right now, or I'm going to wait a few hours before I think about what I want to do about this. That's our highest good. It's like our Jiminy Cricket, so to speak. Jiminy Cricket was always telling Pinocchio what to do and suggesting the path that was in Pinocchio's best interest. So when we listen to our inner Jiminy Cricket, we are acting from our highest good and we're shining our light. We align with our highest good also when we are trusting ourselves completely. That doesn't mean that we are avoiding any mistakes from our lives, or if we do make mistakes, then that trust is gone. No. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But trusting yourself goes a little bit deeper than good or bad, right or wrong. When we don't have self-trust, we end up feeling really insecure about ourselves, insecure about the decisions that we make in life. We might hold ourselves back in expressing our authentic selves. We might feel really self-conscious, of course, have a lot of self-doubt, and be a lot less engaged with our lives. we can be very limited, blocked, and of course stuck. We can also, without self-trust, we end up looking to external sources of information, other people to tell us what to do, or other information that may or may not be really working for us. And it means that we're not shining our light, our own true light. So, but self-trust is something that we can end up losing over time as well. One of the ways that we can lose self-trust is by constantly thinking that life should be different. Really not accepting what's happening, trying to resist what's actually happening in your life. You kind of remove your own ability to handle life when you resist what's actually happening. And so we can lose our self-trust that way. We can also lose the trust in ourselves when we set expectations that are unreasonable or too high for ourselves. And then if it's really unreasonable and we're not able to perform at our best, then we lose trust for ourselves. When we compare ourselves to other people and really look for the ways that we aren't measuring up to what we think we should be measuring up to, we can also lose a lot of self-trust. And also, I think I already said, taking too much stock putting too much stock in what other people have to say or think that we should do. When we don't question the status quo, then we're not really listening to our own internal compass. Not that there aren't experts out there that we really should be listening to. It's just that if we listen without questioning and then we find ourselves in a more problematic situation than we'd like, then we might end up finding ourselves saying things like, if I'd only listened to myself about, not following this or going my own way on this, then we could end up losing our own self-trust. And certainly if we go against our own emotional compass, when our feelings are telling us something and we don't listen to those feelings, we try to push them down or ignore them or explain them away, then we are basically demonstrating to ourselves that we are not trustworthy. And then, of course, not honoring our values. When we value something like work-life balance, for example, and then we spend all of our time working, we're not honoring that value. That value doesn't just go away, it's still there. And yet, we're making decisions that go against our value. So how could we trust ourselves if we're not aligning ourselves with what we value? So those are just some ideas or some ways that we lose our self-trust. You can recognize if you're not trusting yourself, if you're saying things like a lot of should statements. I should have known better. I should have done this instead. I should have thought of that. If should finds its way into your brain a lot, then that should really should be a message that you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting the process. Another trust damaging statement might be, if I had only, or I'm a loser, I can't do anything right, whatever I touch I ruin, how should this be done, what would a normal person do? Those are all statements that if you find yourself saying any of those things or any variation on those themes, then you might not be really interacting with your own self-trust. So self-trust, what does it really do for us ultimately? One of the things that self-trust can do for us is build independence or agency. Independence is when we can take charge of our lives and not always have to rely on externals to decide what we want to do in any situation in our lives. It's when we take responsibility for our lives and how we want to organize things or make decisions. I want you to think about when in your life have you trusted somebody and you wish that you hadn't? You know, maybe somebody you really looked up to them as an authority figure or a mentor or a friend who seemed like they had more experience than you in something, and you trusted them, and then something bad happened. And you have that thought, if only I had listened to myself. That is an example of not being independent, not being an independent thinker. I also use the word agency. Agency is a relatively new buzzword that those of us in the realm of coaching or teaching on these concepts use. So agency is our ability to act on our own behalf. And when we demonstrate agency, we really demonstrate our own self-responsibility and our ability to be independent and to not have to rely. Not that relying on other people is bad. It's just that it's nice to know when you have your own back, when you can trust yourself. Both being more independent and having more agency in your life builds self-confidence, and self-confidence is really the antidote to self-doubt. So independence and agency are really important elements that we engage when we build self-trust. Self-trust also lets other people trust you. If you are leading people, or if people are relying on you in one way or another, they know that you can act on your own. You mean what you say. You follow through with what you say you're going to do. They can feel your self-confidence. Now, hopefully they're also listening to their own independence and agency, but think about the people in your life that you know that you can trust. If you ask them to do something, they will do it. They will honor that commitment. And when you trust yourself to honor commitments, then other people will trust you too, which means that's healthier collaborations with other people. That's healthier relationships with other people. People will want to work with you. So trusting yourself demonstrates to other people the kind of person that you are. Also, trusting yourself means that you trust that you can handle anything that comes your way. You know, a lot of times we can live in fear about what's going to happen if, or, you know, we can respond in fear to anything uncertain in our lives. But ultimately, my belief is that we're always doing the best that we can, no matter what. We're always putting our best foot forward. That means that we really can't fail. Things may not always go the way that we'd like, but we are always learning from the experiences that we have, and we're always growing and developing. So when you can trust that no matter what happens, you will come up with the best answers and solutions for yourself, then you are truly, truly trusting yourself in any life situation. So one time I was playing in a recital. It was actually April. This month of the year tends to represent allergy season for me, as trees are budding and putting out, you know, all the stuff that puts stuff in the air and my sinuses react. And one April, I had a recital that I was playing. And I got to the recital and, I'd spent all this time preparing and I felt really good about it. But despite all of my best efforts, my allergies decided to kick in. And I will spare you the details, but suffice it to say, I was having a hard time breathing. I was having a hard time keeping my throat clean. And it was really affecting my ability to perform at my best. It was very distracting too. So physically, mentally, emotionally, all of those things were being affected in that performance. Despite all of that, I did my best. And knowing that I did my best under those circumstances, I could trust that my best was probably good enough in that situation. And it was. It wasn't ideal, but it was good enough. And I completed my recital and life went on, knowing that, I could have done better, but in that situation, it was what it was. So knowing that I could trust myself to know what to do in that situation, I knew that I needed to put my focus and attention on using more air and to try and keep my mind focused on the music. I had practiced all of those things too, and I trusted myself to handle that in the moment. Life always has a funny way of helping us practice self-trust if we're open to that process. Now, sometimes my clients will say things like, how can I trust myself if I'm not doing the things that I keep saying that I want to do? And this is a valid point. It's a valid reaction to what's going on in life. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we say, I really want to drink more water. And then we get to the end of the day and realize, I haven't even had a glass of water today. What's going on here? Why didn't I do that? That's a small example, but in a situation where we're not doing the things that we say that we want to do, it's important to take a look at, what are the underlying thoughts, emotions, beliefs? How do I get distracted from what I say that I want to do? What could I be doing a little bit differently to remind myself? And also, you can ask yourself, how is not doing what I say that I want to do serving me? And what I mean by that question is, it could be that the reason why I'm not drinking water all day long is because I have to go to work and I don't have a lot of time to use the bathroom. And so I don't want to drink so much water that I'm having to go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. So it's serving me to not drink so much water because I just don't have the time. Or if what you want to do is you want to apply for a new job, but you're not doing it, it could be that maybe you're worried about the interview process. Maybe you have a lot of emotions that get triggered when you think about interviewing for that job. So not applying for that job actually serves you by making it so that you don't have to face those emotions. Now, ultimately, is it really serving you? That's where you have to decide either yes or no, like it's more important to me to not face my emotions versus no, actually it really is important to me to face my emotions, so I'm going to do it. So asking yourself, how is not doing what I say I'm going to do serving me, helps you get a clear picture of that. And once you have a clearer picture of what's going on, then you can trust yourself to actually follow through down the path that serves your highest good. So you may need to resolve certain things before you can tackle what it is that you really want to do. And doing that helps you take care of you and know what you need. And then once you take care of that, you have more self-trust. So let's talk about how to develop more self-trust in your life. I have 6 ways that you can do that. Number 1, you can practice little acts of self-trust throughout your day. What I mean by this is pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Maybe the little act will be to remove any of the negative self-talk. Be nicer to yourself. Shift that negativity to more neutral statements. Another little act of self-trust might be to notice any patterns that you're engaging in. If it's a pattern of, competition with somebody that is just making you feel amped up and angry at your workspace or something like that. We all have little patterns in our lives that we engage with, and becoming aware of those patterns can really help us. Or maybe it's just little things like how you're taking care of yourself. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating the right kinds of food for your body? Do you need to introvert? Do you need to take some time off of people and, regroup? So practicing little acts of self-trust mean taking care of yourself. When you take care of yourself, you can trust yourself. Number 2 can look like accepting life as it is. Remember my performance example. I could really have resisted that moment, and my performance could have ended up even worse. If I'd really tried to fight my allergies in some way and stayed focused on my allergies, then I would have been completely distracted for the whole performance, and it could have ended up much, much worse. But I accepted it. I said, all right, it's April, makes sense. My allergies are going crazy. I can only do what I can do. So accepting life rather than going into resistance can help you engage with trusting yourself to know what to do. The third way to develop more self-trust is to be mindful of your expectations. If you expect yourself to be perfect every day in all ways, and you have a vision of what perfection is, it's probably not going to go so well for you. When I was working at 3 different colleges and a community music school and playing at a hospital and gigging all over the state and trying to be fully involved in my family's life and to be a daughter and a sister and a friend, that was really unreasonable of me to expect that I was going to be fully engaged in all of those activities at all times. I ended up getting burnt out. So it's important to really be mindful of the expectations that you set for yourself. When you can set reasonable expectations for yourself, you will develop more self-trust. You'll trust yourself to know what's reasonable or not. The 4th way to develop self-trust is to cultivate a sense of independence and agency. This means making decisions. Sometimes those decisions might not feel totally certain, and that's okay. But just make the decision and see what happens, and trust yourself to know what to do if there is something that you have to handle afterwards that you weren't expecting. That's a way to practice your ability to trust yourself. You can also allow yourself to make mistakes. Sometimes when we approach projects, we try to do everything that we can to prevent mistakes. We try to think about it from all angles and anticipate potential pitfalls and problems and try to put everything into place so that we don't make those mistakes. But at the same time, you're also stifling your own creativity in the moment. So allowing yourself to make mistakes and let those mistakes be learning lessons is a wonderful opportunity to develop self-trust. Number 5 is cultivating a lot more emotional awareness. When you know your feelings and what they're trying to tell you, you can trust yourself to cope with and deal with what's causing those feelings, what's underneath those feelings. And then you can trust yourself again to take care of yourself and to know what you need to do. Emotions are always messages from our higher self, and they're a barometer for what you need or want in life. Finally, the last way, number 6, that you can develop more self-trust is to honor your values. And I know I've said this in other videos, but I do have a core value exercise on my website. If you go to www.tess-miller.com, you'll find in the menu a core values list and exercise that you can try to really figure out what your values are. When we know our values and find ways to honor them, that is such a great way to learn how to trust yourself in engaging with the activities that align with your higher self. So my focus word for 2021 is freedom. And when we can really cultivate a full sense of self-trust, then we can not only have external freedom in our lives, freedom from always waiting for other people to tell us what to do or what to think or how to be. We can also cultivate inner freedom because we will know ourselves fully and know that we always have our back. So I hope this message resonates with you. Thank you so much for watching these videos. It really means a lot to me when people watch and engage with the information. And I'm always grateful for your presence and would love to hear any of your thoughts and your ideas and experiences in life and how you implement any of these ideas. Please like or share these videos with anyone that you think might benefit from them. That helps people find me and helps get my messages out there. So I'm really grateful when you do that. And I also want to mention that I'm in the final stages of writing my book, The Book of Stuck. I'm hoping to publish, I know I keep saying this, but I really do hope to publish by the end of this month. I am neck deep in formatting at this point, and I'm really getting ready to hit the submit button and get this book out there. It's called The Book of Stuck, and it helps investigate what it is to be stuck, how we get stuck, and how to get out of stuck. So I'm really, really excited to share that book with you all, and I will let you know when it is done and ready. And if you want to know when my book is going to be done, go on over to my website and subscribe to my email list if you have not done so already. You'll also get other free resources and updates and developments straight to your inbox there. And if you're ready to embark on getting out of some stuck in your life, you can try some coaching out with me. I have a free Test Your Wings complimentary coaching session there on my website under services. So I'd love to see how I might help you with any of those stuck places in your life. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So thank you again for watching. Remember, it's okay to be stuck, but you don't have to stay there. Have a fantastic week and take care. Bye.